Motif set number 9, Quinnie. The first motif in this set is number 121, and this is the Aspen Leaves. Very simple motif. Usually aspen leaves, when they during the summer, are kind of a nice bright green. If you wanted aspen leaves in the fall, they turn gold. They do have little buds on them when they're first leafing out, little seed pods that are pretty cute. The next one in this set is the Plums. And here's the Plums. Two different textures of wool and two different purples make that kind of fun. These are more like those Italian prunes, some people call them, the little kind of elongated plums. This one has a nice couching done over the entire stem that makes it look rather woody. That's kind of a fun one. The next one is the Ash Leaves. And here's this one. Very simple motif, but it's really a fun one. I had one girl that did this in a really bright turquoise color, and it was beautiful, done out of something a little bit out of the box. Not your traditional coloring. The next one is the Hedgehog, and he's pretty cute. One thing that you can do for him is have his body, his little quills, come around like this, and then sew a three-dimensional ear on the top that maybe isn't attached at the back end, and that is really cute. I've seen several people that have done that. These are just little arrowhead stitches for his quills and his little pokey things, and two different colors for his body. The quail is next. We have quail that live in our yard, and we have so much fun watching them during the summer. And they're one of my favorite birds. It's very cute, and I like how this one has several different colors of wool that are appliqued on. These are actually, these feet are cut out of wool and then just really stitched down securely because they're so skinny. This next one was such a cute, bright little motif, the way she appliqued this. Very bright colors. These are just unattached, just cut out, and then they're secured down by the centers. And that's kind of fun, and I like how she did just straight stitches for the heart in the middle instead of appliquing, and little X's and French knots down here. Now these next 4 blocks are sampler blocks, and I don't have a good example to show you of what I wanted these to be like, but I'm going to show you these that don't have the sampler stuff on them yet. Okay, so here's 2 of them, and then here's 2 more. So my idea behind these motifs was that you would come in and do verses or wording or embroidery, just even embellishing a row of stitching that you liked. You know, they are cute and simple, just like this. This one would be ideal if you used it as a personal block. You know, I could write Amy, born, you know, December 3rd, 1958. I could make this be journaling blocks. The same here. I actually have 4 kids, and it would be fun to put my name, my husband's name, and our 4 kids in there. Maybe I could even put their birth dates. I think when you're doing this much work on a quilt, spend a little extra time and journal and keep a record of it. It can become your label and all about you. Same thing on this one. This is actually really cute, just stitched down with a heavy blanket stitch along the edge, and you know, there might not be room here, but if you did want to do a little verse, one of my favorite sayings is, "I cannot count a day complete till needle, thread, and fabric meet," and that would be so cute to stitch around those little circles. So those are the sampler blocks, and that was the idea behind those blocks. Next is the House with Flowers. And this is a cute little motif. Sometimes houses get a little tedious, especially when they have lots of windows, but cut out your windows with a rotary cutter and a ruler, and then they'll become a lot more straight, and they're easier to stitch down. You'll notice that I never stitch a corner. I have a stitch that goes out this way, and then I have a stitch that goes this way, and I always leave the corners unattached. And see how this chimney is kind of pointing up? You can take a sharp pair of scissors and just trim that to be nice and straight after it's all appliqued. If you don't stitch down the corners you can't get a stitch to go diagonally right out on those corners. These flowers are just heavily whip stitched down, lots of floss around the edges to make them kind of pretty and shiny, and then there's a stem stitch and lazy daisies for the stem. The tricycle is next, and I love this one. It's very cute. Here again, when we did this, we cut out, we put heat and bond behind the wool, and then there's a lot of heavy couching going across those pieces of wool, and that's to help cover, but it also makes it very rounded, so it looks like little pipes, like what your tricycle is made of, is those round pieces of metal. The same on the wheels. They actually look a little bit rounded because there's heavy couching going on around them. The spokes on the wheels are just nice straight stitches with embroidery floss. I like the tassels that are straight stitches coming out of the handlebars. The next one is the mushrooms, and we decided to make little red and white mushrooms, and this would be a fun one to add beads to instead of little straight stitches, but this is just the seed stitch that are embellishing the red mushrooms. The next one is the wren, and I think that's this bird right here. Should have looked it up. But this one is, she made it blue, which she needed some blue in her quilt, she said, and so this is very easy applique. Lots, let's see, 3 different colors of blue. You could use 3 different colors of brown, 3 different colors of gold, 3 different colors of red. Birds come in lots of colors, and you can make this any color you like. The beak and the feet are lots of heavy couching, just little straight satin stitches going across there. The last motif in this set is the thrush, and this is a really cute little gold bird, and I like the French knots on these blossoms. This is actually wool that has been cut out, and then there's a straight stitch going up the center to applique them down, and some little straight stitches across some of them. Long straight stitches here on the feathers, and then there's some little arrowhead stitches up in here. And that is set number 9.